All right, what is going on today, guys? Evan Aldo here. Wanted to give you guys an update, show you, the latest what I've been doing in the VIP Discord. So I had a short. I gave this setup while I was on the live stream last night, so you could kind of see, take profits, entry points. This worked out really well. I closed this out. A lot of times I don't close out a trade completely, but this one I just had a feeling. I closed it out and I went long, and it worked out really well this morning. You can see this trade, and it's down below right here on FAIRDESK, $4,300 of realized profits. Still got 3 Bitcoin in it, so it's well over 100 grand, which is still a significant long, which potentially could be ridden up a lot farther if we do come up. Had a CRL long that did really well, and got a lot of really good trades in the Discord. A win rate well above 50%. So if you guys are interested, check it out. Link down below. We've been killing it in there. It's CBZ, Lanacore, KMAC as well. And you could view all of that. It is a steal for the amount of price we charge for it. And also, I'm doing a new promo where if you guys sign up to any of the exchanges down below, FAIRDESK is really good. All the 4 ones down below are the best ones I think to use, especially if you don't want to use a VPN and or at least not require KYC. I use a VPN just anyway. Some of them are starting to require VPNs now. It's getting a little bit stricter depending on where you are in the world. But any of those, if you deposit at least $100, sign up my link, deposit at least $100, and then open a support ticket in the Discord. You could do it, right here under the support ticket tab. Put in your you could do other issue or whatever, and then put in your UID. Just say you deposit $100, put in your UID, and then we will get you sorted. Give you a free month in the Discord. So yeah. Now let's get into what's going on right now. Let's get into Bitcoin. So the first thing that I want to show you guys on Bitcoin right here is going to be the and by the way, okay, I'll just show you real quick. I just wanted, because this was like a textbook hitting a big point, where I entered the long, money flow coming up, went right up to VWAP. VWAP was a little bit lower this morning, obviously, but went right up there. Market Cypher SR is a good point. I know. Shout out to Nick Cypher, Flop and Groper, who uses VWAP a lot, and he's had a lot of really good success with that. So he's kind of been turning me on to it a little bit more, and it is a really good point of SR. So shout out to Flop and Groper. But yeah, let's look at the 2 week right here. I mean, it's really bullish. I mean, it's really bullish. This is, I was looking at before, kind of we broke above that 30K, scene of the crime right there, broke above it. Do we come back down to 30 or 40K at some point this year? I mean, maybe, maybe. I mean, March typically is a more bearish month for crypto. I could see March being a pullback, but that 2 week green dot is pretty good. 11 days to, kind of confirm right here. So potentially that could be the catalyst up, to 57. Maybe, I mean, I don't know. It seems crazy saying this, but maybe you could get up to 55 or 57 or 58 by the end of this month. And then March is your kind of pullback or something. It's crazy. It does seem pretty crazy that we're this high, this quick. And it's a beautiful thing. It's really a beautiful thing. And, it's wild. So, I mean, if we've been DCAing in, I've been DCAing in, it's been mildly euphoric. They say you should sell when it's euphoric, but we're not there yet. And I think you could get, it's euphoric if you've been in this game for multiple years. If it's not euphoric if you originally bought at 69K, you know what I mean? So, yeah. But ultimately, when you look at some of these time frames, such as the 2-day, money flow is starting to come out, but nothing too concerning. I mean, the main concern here is that 50K is just such a big area, and we're kind of rejecting from it. That's the major kind of concern, in my opinion. But nothing's too bad. I don't see anything too bad. I mean, you see the bear divs in the 6 hour. That could have very well played out. You saw your pullback. Now you're starting to recover from that. That could have been it, and then you're kind of home free some more. Money flow coming down in the 2 hour. I mean, that's, you may get a true wave in the 2 hour that could bring us down. I mean, if you could break down from this kind of new range, you could come back down to 46 theoretically based on that, come back down to 47, 46 theoretically. Trigger wave in the hourly, but usually, at least in this environment, in the bull market, they come down a little bit, but then usually you come up higher. So that's what we could be looking at. And that could, allow this trade to really go, bonkers some more. So, oops, wrong one. But yeah, now let's move on to Ethereum, which is your weekly, green dot, money flow coming up. That could easily be the catalyst up to, I mean, if you were to, right up to 3,000 almost, which could be a huge area for Ethereum, just 3,000, which is awesome. Really incredible, really awesome. And there's been people talking about 100K Bitcoin by the end of this year. All these crazy predictions. Well, not that crazy. I mean, it's only double from where we are now. I mean, I don't know where ETH would be, but theoretically, you could see new all-time highs by the end of the year. That's what kind of happened in 2020. You absolutely could see that, especially with the institutional interest. So that'd be crazy. That would be really crazy. So yeah, and coming up here, so potentially jumping up higher. You do have so you have the not a true bear div there, but you have a bearish divergence on your 16-hour on Ethereum. So that could theoretically bring us down. I don't think it looks too bad though. Money flow is not awful. Your 8-hour looks almost bear div, but I don't know if you could hold 2,600, you probably could continue a bit here. You probably could continue. Trigger wave, yeah. Trigger wave, yeah. This actually looks better in Bitcoin on the shorter. Interesting. And I think speaking of that, I think that ETH can it got a nice jump against Bitcoin. We've been consolidating, but I think could be wrong. We could lose this area, but I do think if you're going to be choosing between ETH and Bitcoin, I think now's the time for ETH, and I think now's the time for DCing into alts. And I'm planning on doing that, as I talk about in my completely free crypto DCA course. So a lot of you guys have gone through that, and some of you have liked it. DCAing in until kind of having, and especially maybe if March turns out to be a red month, end of March, that DCA, beginning of April, that area would be big to get in and kind of sit back for a minute, sit back for a little bit. So for long-term capital gains and slowly get out of the market in sometime in 2025. So yeah, looking at some of the big boys, the old favorites, Solana, jumping up here. Yeah, continuation on the 5-day. Potentially we could jump up to 140 based on some of these larger time frames, especially if we could break above 116 and then 125. So yeah. Let's see. That looks really good on Atom. Atom's another one I have a trade in the Discord. You got to be patient with some of these, but trigger waves, man, this looks damn good. Yeah, this looks good. Yeah, potentially coming up. A lot of these look really good. Matic as well, kind of trigger waves. Screen dots, good stuff forming. I think we're gonna keep going up. Dot, true, that looks good enough. Everything looks very good overall. Everything looks very good overall. Sometimes it's hard to choose which one you want to trade, but I think a lot of these could jump up a bit. Here, the other one that obviously more of the risky play. You've heard me talk about it, I'm sure. Weekly trigger wave on ApeCoin. That could easily bring us up to $2 here. It doesn't get much better than that. So yeah. And I mean, I don't know, MicroStrategy generally follows Bitcoin. If you could break above there, you might be looking at 880 or something. There was one other thing. Oh yeah, crypto.com. That's the one. And like you guys saw in the beginning, I had a nice long on that. Crypto.com I think is going to keep fighting back generally. Trigger wave on the 5-day, weekly green dot, all that. So yeah, ultimately stuff looks good. Looks like a healthy market still. We'll see what happens. I think February is going to probably remain a green month as long as we could, hold our current areas and break above, 50K. March, historically, I know is a red month, like I mentioned. We're also approaching, if you can see down here, the $1 trillion market cap on Bitcoin, which is going to be at like 53. That could be a psychological area, maybe. But other than that, guys, man, it's just the thing too is, this was a little prediction. Yeah, if we come up, come down in March and then come up, post halving, then have a summer lull back down to 40 something choppy year, and then really come up towards the end of this year. Just an estimate. Bitcoin dominance, this will tell us, what altcoins could potentially do. So it is kind of, coming up a little bit, but we'll see if we could break above where we are. We might be able to break up, get up to 57%, but I think, and now it looks better on the 2-week with that money flow coming up. But I think you're towards the end of this. You know what I mean? You're towards kind of the end of this. Similar to kind of late 2019, early 2020. That's kind of the area you're kind of in. One theory is that once the Fed pivots, that's when liquidity really starts to get into altcoins. I think that's probably a no-brainer to kind of guess. But that may not be until June now. So that just that long pause. I don't really see an option of them ever raising rates any higher, but I do see that long pause. So anyway, guys, if you're interested in Discord, check it out down below. If you want a free month, sign up to any of the exchanges down below. Deposit at least $100 with my link. If you sign up with my link and then open a support ticket with your UID to get the free month. So check that out. All right, guys, really appreciate you guys. Subscribe, like the video.